You don't hate staying at home. You hate what shows up when you do. You've done it before, canceled plans, told yourself tonight you'll just rest. Maybe watch something, maybe do nothing. And for about 20 minutes, it's fine. You're on the couch. The room is quiet. And then something shifts. A restlessness you can't quite name. You pick up your phone, put it down, pick it up again. You start thinking about texting someone, going somewhere, doing anything that isn't this. The silence starts to feel less like peace and more like pressure. And before you know it, you're making plans you didn't want to make, just to escape a feeling you can't explain. This isn't laziness. It isn't some personality flaw. And it definitely doesn't mean you're broken. It means your nervous system has learned something, and today, we're going to understand what. There's a version of this story that gets told wrong all the time. People who struggle to stay home get labeled as restless, commitment averse, maybe even a little immature. Like they haven't grown up enough to enjoy stillness. But that framing misses the entire point. Because the people who feel most uncomfortable at home are often carrying the most. They're not running towards something exciting. They're running away from something. Quiet, and quiet, for them, has never been safe. This isn't antisocial. This isn't a character flaw. This is your brain trying to regulate something it was never fully taught to hold. The first layer is the simplest and the most overlooked. Home is quiet. And quiet has a cost. When you're outside, in a coffee shop, in a car, in a room full of other people, your brain is occupied. There's input, there's texture, there's something to process, something to respond to, something pulling your attention forward. But at home, in the stillness, the input disappears. And when external noise fades, something else takes its place. Your own thoughts. And for many people, their thoughts are not a comfortable place to live. This isn't about being dramatic or oversensitive. It's about what happens when a mind that has never fully processed something is suddenly forced to sit with it. Old conversations replay. Unfinished grief resurfaces. Questions you've been too busy to answer start demanding attention. The house didn't create those feelings. It just removed everything you were using to avoid them. So the brain does what brains do. It associates the location with the discomfort. Home stops feeling like rest. It starts feeling like ambush. The second layer lives in your biology. The modern world runs on stimulation. Your phone, your social life, the constant scroll, the notifications, the plans, the noise, and your brain adapts. It learns to expect a certain level of input to feel normal. It recalibrates its baseline. And once that recalibration happens, anything below that threshold doesn't feel like peace, it feels like deprivation. This is what makes staying home feel almost physically uncomfortable for some people. It's not boredom in the simple sense, it's withdrawal. The brain that has been fed a constant stream of fast input experiences silences the way a body experiences stillness after hours of movement. Disorienting, uncomfortable, wrong. So you reach for your phone before you even realize you're doing it. You text someone, you scroll, you create stimulation because your nervous system no longer knows how to regulate without it. Going out isn't just more fun. It feels neurologically necessary. But here's the part nobody tells you. The problem isn't the house. It's what your mind does when there's nothing to distract it. The third layer is the one people are least willing to name. Emotional avoidance. When you're always moving, always making plans, always somewhere, always with someone, you don't have to feel certain things. Loneliness can't find you if you're never alone. Grief doesn't settle in if you're always packing for the next trip. Confusion about who you are stays blurry if you're always surrounded by other people's energy. But when you stay home, when the movement stops, something catches up to you. It's not dramatic. It doesn't arrive loudly. It's more like a quiet weight, a sense that if you sit still long enough, you'll have to confront something you've been successfully outrunning for months, maybe years. This is why some of the most socially active people are also some of the loneliest. Not because connection doesn't matter to them, because it matters so much that they've outsourced their emotional regulation entirely to other people's presence. Being alone with themselves has stopped being something they know how to do, not because they've never tried, but because every time they did, it hurt. So the body learned movement equals safety, stillness equals pain, and the two rooms in your mind got labeled accordingly. The fourth layer reaches back further than most people expect. Think about the home you grew up in. Not everyone's childhood home was a sanctuary. For some people, home meant tension. It meant unpredictability, not knowing what mood would greet you, not knowing if the evening would be calm or complicated. For others, it meant loneliness, a house full of people where no one really talked, where being alone in your room felt like abandonment, dressed up as quiet. Those early experiences wire something deep. The nervous system learns what home means before you're old enough to question it. And if home meant discomfort, meant silence as punishment, meant the absence of safety, your adult brain doesn't automatically unlearn that. It carries the template forward. So when you find yourself craving escape, when you feel inexplicably restless inside four walls that are objectively fine, some part of that is muscle memory. The body remembering what stillness once cost it. This doesn't mean you're damaged. It means you adapted. It means you survived something, even if you've never had a name for it. The fifth layer is identity, because here's something worth sitting with. For some people, who they are only exists in the presence of other people. Outside, you're funny, you're interesting, you have a role to play, friend, colleague, the person who always knows where to go and what to say. That version of yourself feels real, feels solid, feels like proof of something. But alone, in a quiet room, without an audience or a conversation to anchor you, who are you exactly? That question, for some people, has no comfortable answer. And the absence of an answer creates a kind of free fall, not dramatic, not always conscious, just a low-grade sense that alone equals incomplete, that if no one is watching, no one is reacting, no one is reflecting you back, maybe there's nothing to reflect. This is identity that lives outside the self, and it's more common than anyone admits. The need to leave home isn't always about excitement. Sometimes it's about proof. Proof that you exist, that you matter, that you are someone when someone else can see you. All of this, the noise-seeking, the movement, the avoidance, the childhood memory, the identity that needs an audience, all of it is doing the same thing. It's regulating. Think of it like a blanket, not a metaphor for comfort, but for function. A weighted blanket exists because the nervous system sometimes needs pressure to feel contained. External stimulation, social presence, constant movement. These are the weighted blankets of an anxious inner world. They press down on the restlessness just enough to make it manageable. They create the sensation of being held when holding yourself feels impossible. This isn't weakness, it's intelligence. The brain found something that works and held onto it. The tragedy isn't that it found the tool. The tragedy is when the tool becomes the only tool. When the blanket becomes something you can't put down, even when you want to rest. It's worth saying clearly, not everyone who goes out is running from something. Some people genuinely thrive in social environments, in movement, in energy. That's real too. And not everyone who stays home is at peace. Stillness can be its own avoidance, its own hiding place. This isn't about introversion or extroversion. This is about what the nervous system has learned to need. And those needs shift across a lifetime. The person who couldn't sit still at 23 finds themselves craving quiet at 35. The restlessness doesn't disappear, it changes shape. The brain isn't fixed. It is always, slowly, relearning. What once felt like escape can eventually feel, with time and safety, like choice. So, if you're someone who dreads the moment the plans fall through, who feels vaguely panicked by an empty weekend, who picks up their phone the second the room goes silent, you are not broken. You are not shallow. You are not incapable of depth or peace or solitude. You are someone whose nervous system learned that stillness wasn't safe. Someone whose brain found a way to manage what it couldn't yet hold. Someone who built a life around movement, because movement, for a long time, was the kindest thing available. The place you keep leaving isn't the problem. It never was. You just haven't learned how to feel safe there yet. And that's not a failure. That's just something the mind is still working out.